So in today's video, with a really muddy pebbles who's getting me coated in mud, I'm going to talk to you about a brilliant technique for visualizing an image when you're in the field. I use it all the time. It's made such a big difference to my photography. Come on, dirty dog. Morning everybody, fantastic to see you all again. So how often you've gone out into a location, got back, looked at your photos in Lightroom and realised that it's not just exactly what you wanted. And one of the really difficult things in landscape photography is visualising that sort of end product, what it's going to look like when it's printed or when you've edited it and uploaded it to Instagram. It's really difficult, but I've come up with a really good trick over the last couple of years that I've used actually on walks with pebbles, and I want to talk to you about it in this video. So what is it that makes this difference? Well, for me, it's just using my phone to take that photo to visualize it, but not so much just take the photo, editing it on my phone. It makes a really big difference. If I can take a shot, so if we're looking at these leaves here, if I'm thinking, okay, this might make a good shot, these backlit leaves here, I can take that shot, but more importantly, I can then edit it on my phone, and that can help me visualize what it might be like, what that final image might be like. Because after all, the final image, the thing you're going to actually show, is going to be edited. You're taking a raw image, so you want to be able to see what it might be able to be turned into. And by editing it on your phone can make a really big difference. So let's go and have a look at how we can do that. So I'm going to go back to the studio and talk about a few more shots, but I just took this shot here and this is a good example. So if I just show you what I might do whilst I'm in location on this shot, and then we'll go and have a look at some other shots and how I did that on different locations and got a final image and how that helped me visualize the image. So if we look at this one here, so just using basic things in the camera app here, I can, just change how I might see that. I might want to just see what it looks like at different colours. I might want to quickly go in and just change the black point to lighten the blacks. Is that going to make a difference? And what I can see here now is there's really some strong shapes coming in here. But there's these, I've got to be careful with these highlights here and be careful with things here. But doing this allows you to see what it might look like in camera, and that is really important. Okay, I'm back in my old studio now. Still doing some other things in my studio, but I had to come back early, and sorry about that last little bit. It probably wasn't the best example in terms of that phone, but I'm going to show you some examples now. But I got a little bit distracted because as I was shooting that, Pebbles was running down into this dell and then just came back literally black. So I followed her and she was covered in mud. So I had to bring her home, unfortunately, because she was jumping on people and I couldn't film anything. But I was intending to do this back here anyway, so that's fine. So I wanted to go through, just to reiterate why you should do this and why I do this. And this is genuine. I do this all the time. Almost every shot I've taken with my phone before I get my big camera out, and I probably edited it a little bit with my phone. It really helps me to visualize the shot, so that's the most important thing. It helps me to see what that end product might look like. Now, it's not going to be exactly what it looks like, but it's really quick to do, and I'm going to show you some examples of that in a minute. It also helps me compose the image, so if I look at the shot and then I edit it a little bit and crop it a little bit, then I may just compose it slightly differently. So it's almost like a bit of an iterative process, so that's really good. And then you can do other things as well. So I sometimes take a pano with it, or I take long exposures with my phone. So before I have to get any filters out or change lenses, I can do those things with my phone. And it's just such a brilliant tool to help to visualize that final image. Okay, let's jump into a shot. So this first shot was at the weekend, actually. I was on a workshop and we had these amazing light rays. And I was showing the lady who was on my workshop exactly how to compose this image, and I was sort of going through the process that I would go through. So I took this shot with this amazing light with my phone, and I went into it and started to edit it a little bit because I wanted to see how I might edit it, because that again helps me visualize that final shot. And then I realized that I didn't want that blue bit at the top of the sky, so I cropped it down a little bit. And going through that process was really useful, because then I changed my focal length a little bit, and when we took the shot we did a little bit of a different composition. And then eventually I got this final image, which I was really pleased with. I mean, the light was just stunning. And I did the same with the shot of that wall last week. So when I was shooting that wall, I shot it with my phone first, and here's a shot on my phone. And then what I wanted to do is edit that wall and just bring up the blacks just to see what it would look like, because I knew it was in shadow a little bit. So I edited the wall a little bit with Snapseed here, and it's really easy because you can just go in, you can just pinpoint the bit you want to edit, and it looks at brightness levels or color levels within the image and just selects all the other color or brightnesses, and you can change those globally throughout the image. So it means that you can do local adjustments really quickly. So this local adjustment, this image was almost the final image that I took with my big camera, and the final edit of that image that I took with my big camera. So if we compare the two side by side, you can see that they're quite similar. So using Snapseed, the app Snapseed, in the field really helps me out. But sometimes I don't just or only do that, I do other things as well. So for instance, when I was in the Faroes, I took a pano of this shot here, which is this floating lake, which was just amazing. And I was really pleased with the pano from my phone, to be honest. But what that made me realise when I was messing about with the pano is that if I crop down and get quite a wide angle, because this part of the pano that I've cropped to is quite wide angle, I think it ended up being about 18mm full frame, then this was where the composition was. And I probably couldn't have seen that without doing this pano. So then I got a wide angle lens on, took that shot, and this is what it ended up. And it ended up being one of my favourite shots from the Faroes. And I couldn't have done that without visualising it through that pano that I took with my phone. So it is really useful. And again, you can do other things with your phone. So sometimes I take my shot in Lightroom Mobile. And then in Lightroom Mobile, like this shot here, again, I was on a workshop and we were talking about whether we should use a grad filter or not. So I took the shot in Lightroom Mobile, and then I just added a grad on the sky just to see what it looked like, brought up the brightness of the foreground as well. And we could see now that that balanced the sky in the foreground, and it was probably worth using a soft edge grad filter. And it meant that I didn't have to get all the filters out. I could just do it quickly in phone. We could visualize what it might look like, and then we could take the shot. So it really was a great tool in that moment. And speaking about filters, you can also do long exposure with your phone, and not a lot of people do this, and not a lot of people know that you can do this. I've shown it in other videos before. But all you need to do on an iPhone is put the camera on live photo, take a shot, making sure you're holding it really steady, so put it on something, on a tripod, or hold it on a rock or something. And then you just swipe up, and then what you can see then is the ability to convert that live photo into a long exposure. And you can see these are some that I've done before. So this is one on the beach in Iceland I did, and I actually just handheld this one, so the background's a bit blurred, but it gave me an idea of what the sea was going to look like, what those waves were going to look like when I took this long exposure. And it's just such a fantastic tool to visualize the shot. And I know I keep saying visualize the shot, but it really is a massively beneficial tool. Okay, it's a quick one this week. I didn't want to go through any more details. Go and have a try. The apps you want to use are Snapseed and Lightroom Mobile are probably the ones that I use most. Sometimes I just take shots with the camera app and just brighten the shadows and reduce the highlights. Just give it a go. I guarantee that it'll help your photography. So I'll just leave you with some shots that I've taken on my phone, and then the final image that I took on my big camera, just to show you some of the images that I've taken over the last year and how they've all started on my phone. And if you like this video, give it a subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and comment below how do you use your phone, or share some apps below if you've got any good apps that you use on your phone. That'd be really useful to everyone watching the video. Thanks ever so much, and until next Sunday, bye.